My name is Madison Rich, and this is UCC Talk 24. And here on this channel, we're all about the UCC, public empowerment rights, giving people information and knowledge to enrich themselves. So I'm here with my co-host, Shatik Ferguson, and we're going to talk about the Student Loan Forgiveness Act and ways you can protect yourself. And we're also going to play a clip from Ramsey. Okay, and we're going to discuss a couple things, and then we're also going to discuss the acceptance for value process when it comes to loans. Okay, so here's a little small clip we're going to play.
I tried to do it, but the mean old Republicans wouldn't let me. That's coming next. So Biden administration on Tuesday announced it will extend the payment pause, because it is the one thing they can do, on federal student loans until after June. Because you should never have to pay your bills because there's inflation that I caused. That isn't what they said, was it? Okay, no, that wasn't what they said. Top official at the Education Department recently said student loan default rates could dramatically spike if its loan forgiveness program is thwarted. You think? Yeah, there ain't nobody paying these things. So the way we're not going to admit that this head fake on the forgiveness thing caused everybody to stop paying, we're just gonna not make you pay until June so that it doesn't show up, and by then you'll forget that the reason the student loan default rates went way up was because we told everybody we were gonna forgive them and then we didn't. Oh, that's that. Yeah, nice moves. Nice moves. So what does all this tell you?
Man, it's been interesting. It's confusing. That's what it really tells you right now. It's kind of unfair and confusing. I actually asked a question on Instagram last night, just trying to get people's feelings on it, and the range is so wide. What was most interesting to me is even people with student loans who are paying off student loans are starting to get frustrated. They're like, just give us clear guidance. Let us know what to expect. This back and forth, it's going to be forgiven, and wait, all of this is just so confusing, and people are getting really frustrated.
Oh, I didn't see this. I just saw it in the article. I thought they were extending the payment because economic times are so bad. No. The Education Secretary Cardona says in a statement, we're extending the payment pause because it would be deeply unfair to ask borrowers to pay a debt that they wouldn't have to pay if it wasn't for the baseless lawsuits brought by Republicans. I told you they were going to blame them.
Okay, guys, that was just a little clip. You see what's going on. The powers that be are playing politics with your debt. Okay. So basically, when you get a loan, it's sort of like the same way with a house. Almost the same exact process. The promissory note. You understand? You have companies that back the promissory note that you sign, right? And you're basically giving them value for the note, right? So they take your note and go to the discount window, right? Turn the promissory note on the back, sign and endorse it, no recourse, all right? So that makes you liable on the bill, and they're not liable when it's time to enforce payment or there's a default on the bill, right? So it skips, the liability skips over from them to you. So that makes you liable on the bill, but technically you're the secure party in the transaction because you gave value for the promissory note. The promissory note is the money. You understand, guys? So that note has value. You understand? There was a original issue discount when it was recorded. First there's a private contract, right, for the promissory note, right, for rights to the promissory note, and once they file it, that is the original issue discount. But the man's labor is really the source of the discount. You understand? So Shatik, you want to talk to the people a little about that, and how they're playing politics with people's debts.
Well, I look at it as, right, they didn't push the bill yet, right?
Right.
Because we still got to understand that the United States is a corporation.
That's right.
It still has certain corporate rules that it must go by. It's too much to break down and tell the people what roles they play and what side of the board that they sit on when it comes to commerce under the United States of America.
Right.
Right? So the only thing that I can give them to look at, maybe a clearer picture to look at, right, is because the United States is a corporation and it has to move with fictitious movements, with fictitious debt and fictitious obligations, right? All of this stuff that they use is backed by the real life labor of the people, the signature, and the ongoing economic lifestyle of United States, right? I say that to say, so you have all of these people that owe all of these student loans. Each and every last one of these people have put their name on a promise to pay for their student loan. So if the promise to pay on the student loan, let's say, was the maximum of total of $140,000, and they owe $100,000 on it, and this loan and all of these loans ends up in the billions and billions of dollars, right? So they put all of this billions and billions of dollars and tell the people, listen, I am going to give you forgiveness of your student loan, right? If y'all allow us to make this decision. So they can't just do it. But since the people are not stopping them from doing it, because in their mind, the United States is doing them a favor. But they don't know that this big bond that the United States just created, with all of their names and things attached to this bond, and all of their signatures and all of these promises to pay, and these promissory notes that they created range in the billions of dollars. So if they're going to forgive you for this debt that you owe, right, and this bond is, who's going to buy the bond? Who is funding the bond? You know, because the United States ain't stupid. It's a commercial entity. It already has its ducks in a row. So when this student loan forgiveness bond that's already been paid, because you already have the promissory note, the promissory note is already the payment.
That is the payment.
That's the
money.
payment. That's the money. Because
that's the money.
And I didn't say this.
Right.
This is law. This is
that's the
constitutional law. This is passed by Congress. This is not me. House Joint Resolution. This is Congress.
I think they might possibly want people to default on the loans, because that means they can foreclose on the property.
Because they can foreclose on the property.
That's right.
What is inside the property? Inside the property is what? They want you to say, forgive me. I am going to turn my back on this account that I created with this promissory note. I'm gonna give it to y'all. But they need us to. They need us to say, yeah, do it. Crap, pass that law.
And they can leave you those levies, those accounts, and put liens on those accounts for student loans too, though, right?
Well, that's
where
they're gonna create the bond. They're gonna lien every bond. Yeah. The people don't know what they can do. They don't know they can accept that debt and discharge they own. They don't need the United States to act in its commercial capacity for the people. The people can do it for themselves with the acceptance for value.
Return for discharge
process.
But on top of the 1099-C.
Yes, that's the whole process. It must be done. It must be perfected.
It has to be two actions. One, discharge in the private, and then discharge in the public.
Yeah, it must be perfected.
Which is
meaning that it's been discharged on both sides. Right. But skipping past that, right? I didn't want to deviate to that point over there. I wanted to keep it basically on the note.
I just wanted to get into the meat and potatoes, because I know a lot of people, those loans have been very burdensome to people's lives. Right, so you're basically paying a debt that's already been paid, basically. You understand? The promissory note that you signed, like we said before,
that was the negotiable instrument.
that was a secure transaction because the government backed it. But the only thing is, they made you believe they were the secured parties in the transaction,
and you became the liability.
Anytime you got to use your social security card, right? Especially with a government agency, you guarantee those accounts are paid already.
But don't forget the importance of the straw man.
Right.
Don't forget the importance of the straw man, please. A lot of people, they take this trip down this road, right, and they forget the importance of the straw man. You know, which is what is the transmitting utility from credit to public. You know what I'm saying? From credit to debit. That is your transmitting utility.
The middle.
That is what's going to operate for you in commerce.
Right.
That is what's going. And I know sometimes people can get caught with their pants down. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing how to sign or act in public and in private. So sometimes the straw man can get them caught up in a situation. That's why we must build protections even for the straw man. You gotta secure the straw man too. You get what I'm saying? So you have to know exactly how to operate in commerce. You know, I'm not against, you know, the United States and what it stands for and as far as what it's trying to do when it comes to discharging this debt for those that don't understand. But for those that do understand, they know it will behoove them to discharge it on their own.
That's right.
And you benefit.
Yeah, see, you have to understand that the government has made an assumption that you are not competent or don't have the legal capacity to handle your own affairs. You understand? So that's why, you know, the system is designed the way it is.
Because what's that old saying? You couldn't handle the truth, right? Because the truth, in order to survive in commerce, right? Mm-hmm. You must know how. You must have a transmitting utility.
A middleman.
Create your own robot. Right.
That's right.
And that's a jewel. If you're the robot, if you're playing the robot and you know you're the robot, you finally realize what it is that they're doing to you, right? Mm-hmm. Then you need to create a robot that you can control and you can get out of there. And then you will put all your debits on your robot. That way when they come looking at your robot. They're going to be trying to get to you, sniffing around to see if they can get in and get to you. You know what I'm saying? Something like the Matrix. Right. Sending those little things all around to see if they can find a little glitch in the system.
That's right.
So they can get inside your privacy.
That's right.
But once you step down this road, you got to know what you want so that you are not being misguided. So, to know how to operate in commerce is to know that this is just a fictitious operation. You know what I'm saying?
They're acting under
really
the color of law.
They have no money. The reason why they really don't have no
colorful
money. There's
money.
no such thing. We don't need money. Real money is trade. We don't need money, and that's why there's no. But we won't get into that because
look up colorable money and colorable law.
Yeah, we're not trying to get into that.
And that's what they act under. All right, so we're gonna get in. We're gonna read a little of this. This is very important information, guys. Like, this is no joke, and I know everybody's not gonna get it. Some people are gonna accept the information. Some people are gonna reject it. So this information is not for those that reject it. Okay, because this is real stuff right here. Okay, if the acceptor can see that the value is the commitment of the issuer to pay the instrument, then there is value in the instrument, as long as the instrument is accepted for that value. So you hear that, guys? So that promissory note that you sign for a student loan or a house or anything, right? Once they issue it and they get the okay, right, from the financer, right, it becomes a secure transaction. Once you accept that instrument for value, right, it has now become, it is now value attached to the instrument. Okay? Accepting an instrument for value and returning it is notice to the issuer that the endorser is not providing new value, but is converting the issuer's obligation to pay the instrument into the value, thereby making the instrument negotiable. The instrument becomes the payment. Okay? At the point the instrument is issued for value, it is not a negotiable instrument. At that point, the definition of value in Article 1 applies. After it is received by the target, it becomes negotiable. At that point, the definition of value changes to fit Article 3. The instrument being negotiable can be enforced by either party depending on what the transferee does with it. If he just holds it or argues about it, the issuer, United States, is entitled to enforce the instrument. If he accepts for value, he is entitled to enforce the instrument. That is a personal choice. So that's your personal choice. When they send bills to you to pay the loan, that's your personal choice on how you're discharging the loan. Okay, so for any discharge action, it has to be two actions, like I said before. Okay, you have to send notice to the people that are making claims or claims of holder in due course for the debt owed, right? That they check what's going on.
At the point the instrument is issued for value, it is not a negotiable instrument. At the point the instrument is issued for value, it is not a negotiable instrument. At that point, the definition of value in Article 1 applies. After it is received by the target, it becomes negotiable.
So that means after they sign it, right, and they get the okay, right, they sign everything out, and then they give it to you to sign that you have accepted it, right, for value, and now it has become negotiable.
Why? Because you accepted it.
Right.
On its face. Right? So it becomes negotiable. Even if I pay you a 20 and you give me back $10, if I accept that $10, that $10 is the negotiable instrument.
That's right.
See, people are not looking at the importance of the negotiable instrument, right? So after it's received by the target, it becomes negotiable. At that point, the definition of value changes to fit Article 3. The instrument, being negotiable, can be enforced by either party depending on what the transferee does with it. If he just holds it or argues about it, the issuer is entitled to enforce the instrument.
That's the United States.
That's the United States.
Go down a little bit so we can see what the next one is. Okay. It is better to be a holder in due course of an instrument than a liable party on an instrument. A holder in due course is entitled to enforce the instrument. So that means whoever has the instrument can enforce it, right? So basically, when you sign the promissory note, you basically passed the promissory note, right? And they are entitled to enforce it, but they can also assign those rights to enforce it to another party, which could be another bank or another investment banker or whatever the case. Okay, one can be a holder of an instrument without being a holder in due course. An instrument issued for value is a hot potato to a holder. A holder has liability. A holder in due course has rights, but cannot acquire that position on an instrument issued and transferred for value unless he takes the instrument for value, as said in 3-302 A2A below, and returns for it value and returns it for value. It is still a hot potato. To be a holder in due course, the holder must meet all the elements listed in 3-302. Holder in due course. Okay, guys. So this is very important stuff when it comes to student loans. That these guys are playing you guys, man, and that's the whole thing. A contract is null and void if it's not full disclosure to material facts in the contract. right? So they're not letting you know when you sign the promissory note that you have discharged the instrument and have given it commercial value that they can then take and trade and negotiate, right, on the open market, right, and receive payment in full value, right, and you basically are paying the note, not realizing that it's paid already. This is the misrepresentation of a material fact, right? That's the reason why anytime there's an issue with debt, especially of that magnitude, you just basically just make it a tax issue, right? That you guys didn't pay the tax on the money that you just received from the promissory note that I gave you. Hello.
Perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself.
And also, a lot of people don't know there's many things that you can do with that value received for the promissory note. You can rescind the contract. You can assign those rights, right? Because technically, you have equitable title rights to the debt. It has your name on it, your trade name, your caps trade name. And also, we're going to give them a nugget on how to protect yourself when you're entering into any loan agreement, right? Whether it's a student loan or it's a house loan or a car loan. You guys have to get this down packed when you're signing your signature, right? Would you give them a nugget on what you have to do to protect yourself?
Protect your signature.
Right.
There's different ways to protect your signature. You must know all of these different ways, and these are some of the things that's in our courses. These are some of the things that's in our package when we offer in our consultation packages. So this is some of the things that we offer so that you guys don't get yourself caught up in contracts and not being given yourself options for wiggle room. Because let's just be honest. As an unincorporated corporation, right, you still have, remember, because you're an unincorporated corporation, you still can operate under both sides of the Constitution, which will probably behoove you. So keep that in mind also, that you can literally operate on both sides of the Constitution. You get what I'm saying?
So the whole thing is, when you sign your signature, if you don't indicate what capacity you're signing your signature, you become an accommodation party or a surety, and liability, and you hold liability to the contract. So the best way to protect yourself when you're signing your signature on the contract, you should put by your name, right? In lowercase letters, the first letter in capital, / what capacity you're signing in. You can choose to sign as an authorized agent in a transaction, a secured party creditor in a transaction, a trustee in the action, or a beneficiary in the action. Right? And then also on top of that, no recourse and without prejudice. Those are some ways to protect yourself and to protect your liability on an instrument.
But to protect you totally, make sure that we LLC. Make sure that we're creating our fictitious entity. Make sure that we know that we must create our fictitious entity not to mimic who you are. The reason why is because we must do a transfer of all your public debt over to your new public entity. After you do that, then we'll just teach you how to implement some of these remedies that you might see, because a lot of the ways that you sign your signature should be only protected if you're going to stay in your straw man form with the same straw man and name that you live under. Cool, fine by me. If that is how you want to go, then we will teach you in our private session for our consultation on how you should sign your name if you're going to operate as a private citizen and you're not going to create a fictitious or a public entity to operate in public besides your straw man, then we will show you. Other than that, there's different options that we have. The phone number is still attached. Contact us for consultation form.
Okay, this is UCC Talk 24, and we're all about public and private rights, giving people information and knowledge to enrich themselves. We have the link in the description to start your business so you can assign rights to your debt. And we also have a number for consultation on certain discharge topics. Number and email will be in the description. I'm Madison Rich. You guys have a good one.